viewers, and thank you for joining us on Reinventing Mental Health, where we are exploring root causes for mental health and naturopathic solutions. Today, I am excited to have our friend Sincere joining us. I had the pleasure of meeting Sincere at a recent conference, and I'm bringing him on so that we can learn a little bit more about his journey to snake venom medicine and how exactly he's helping his community with this. So thank you so much for joining us, Sincere.
Thank you. It's an honor. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. So tell me a little bit. I know we got to talk about it at the conference, but I want to make sure that we share your whole history with everyone. So what brought you down this path? How did your journey begin?
Well, I was born in a little bit. No, I'm just playing. So honestly, I'm joking, but when I tell the life story of myself, I do realize that my whole life has been geared towards where I'm at now. But that's not what we're going to go through. But I did serve time in the military. I was deployed in 99, 2000 to Kosovo during the Balkans era. And so when I came home, I would smoke a lot of weed to pacify my anger and paranoia and the different things that some would refer to as PTSD. So I started growing cannabis because I smoked so much and I didn't like the idea of what was being grown, how it was being grown. And I'm using this for medicine, but they're using chemicals that I will not drink to grow them. And so I had an issue, so I became an organic grower. Well, apparently that was the right path because it led me to starting to supply cannabis to a lot of very big individuals in the industries, different rappers and musical artists and things like that. And it was because I had some of the greatest organic cannabis. So years into this, a partner of mine who is not a recreational user of anything said to me one day, "You need to use some mushrooms." I don't use no mushrooms. Like, what is man? Like Eminem do mushrooms. I know I'm from Detroit, but nah, right? And so I was like, "You do some mushrooms." He said, "I did." And I was like, "Are you serious?" He was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What happened?" Because I had noticed he had been a little different, but I didn't really ever ask. And he explained it to me, and I was like, "All right, I'll try them," because what he experienced was really fantastic. I tried them and I was shredded and I was pulled apart and built back up. And the experience was quite a large, like when I came out the next day, my PTSD was 100% gone.
Wow.
Okay. My first mushroom trip was 7 grams that night. So after that, I knew that I had become part of something that was greater than me, right? And I knew that other military veterans needed this because of what I went through. And so I started using them a lot and growing them and just became really, really intimate with them like I was with the cannabis. And the more I used them, the more that they assisted me, the more that they showed me things, the more that, and when people, I used to hear people say things like this, be like, all right, how about it was just coincidence? No, it would line things up for me to meet the right people for the next step and the next growth. And so then I met my first animal medicine kingdom teacher who taught me Cambo. And she also introduced me to the idea of snake venom. And I asked for training, but she didn't do that. So later on, I figured out who did, and I paid them to train me. And so
can you go back for just 1 second and talk about what is Canbo so that people understand?
Indeed. So Cambo is a secretion that there's a frog, in some of the rainforests and different places like that. And this frog, in Amazon places, everything wants to kill you. The plants want to kill you, the animals want to kill you. So it doesn't have a offense mechanism. It doesn't attack, it doesn't bite, but it has outstanding defense mechanism to where if something bites it, injects it with poison, bacteria, virus, the secretion will come out and it will neutralize it. This is the only frog that can stand in the sun because of the secretion.
Wow.
So taking that secretion, opening up a port or a gate on your skin, adding it to allowing it to go into your lymphatic system where it's transferred to your bloodstream, and now you are the host, and that starts to go through your body, helps you to detox, it boosts your immune system, and it actively assists in fighting bacteria, viruses, and different things like that. So this is an animal kingdom medicine. We have
Okay.
different medicines from different kingdom. That was my introduction to the
Mhm.
animal kingdom medicine.
Okay. So, can you explain the mechanism and how exactly that one would work before we go into the snake venoms?
So the defense mechanism for the frog is one, anything that attacks it, right, injects it, but also if you grab on and attempt to eat me, instantly these peptides are going to activate your digestive system,
Mhm.
and you're going to get rid of anything you've eaten in the last 3 days. You know what I'm saying? It's a strong perk. It can be. Let me be very clear. You're like, no, I don't do cannibal because I don't like throwing up. Everybody doesn't. The reason they think that there's some practitioners who actually will continue to add Cambo to force you to throw up, will force you to drink massive amounts of water to assist to force you to throw up. And my theory is anything that I have to force doesn't need to be done. So
Right.
I'm not one of the practitioners. So everybody does not purge, if you will, but it does activate the digestive system, your immune system response, and it's great for the women's reproductive system. It's good for the men's too, but it's great for the women's.
Okay.
Not while you're pregnant. Never while you're
Oh,
pregnant.
okay.
But when you
Yeah, that makes
breastfeed,
sense.
as soon as you give birth, you can go get Cambo. Helps for the womb to, go back to, going back to this regular state, as well as the milk that's provided to the youth will be filled with a lot of peptides, beneficials, and things like that because it boosts your immunity. So it's great, but not if you're pregnant.
Okay. All right. And then, so you said after doing that, you did not find a teacher right away, but you found a teacher later on.
Yeah,
So,
yes.
so keep
Um,
going with your
So,
story.
yeah. So the way that was going was somebody had sent me a picture with a person with six. Remember, I said what we call gates. Most people do Cambo. You do one, maybe two, maybe three gates. If you do four, you big dog in it. If you're doing five or six, you're trying to treat something, right? So
Mhm.
they sent me a picture and they said, look, this person is doing 6 gates. Man, 6 gates of Cambo. That's a lot. And I'm looking at the picture. It's not Cambo. And instantly I knew that's snake venom. So went through the grapevine. Hey, who was that? All right, locate them. Got them on. Hey, who gave you that? Locate. Oh, they came in from Mexico. They in town. All right, got their number. And I was like, listen, got them on the phone. Like, hey, this is who I am. I run the Psychonaut Academy Detroit, House of Genesis. I would like to represent that snake venom. Like, how much would it cost to train? And she added up everything that she would need. I would need a babysitter. I need a pet sitter. I need transportation. I was like, so what's the prices? She told me. I was like, okay, it's Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. Come on. Let me get trained. And that started me on the path.
Okay.
And
So
that's my
walk us
life.
through what a treatment looks like with snake venom, and then what
Well,
the
no, I
goal.
don't treat anything. Oh no, oh
Okay.
no, I don't treat. We don't diagnose. We don't cure. We don't. What's the other one the FDA said we don't do? We don't treat, diagnose,
Heal.
cure any diseases.
Yep.
It's certain words that we don't do. So, but we do take people on wellness journeys.
Okay. Explain what those wellness journeys look like.
So, one of my greatest testimonials is Pebbles, Pamela McCoy. And see, I can use her name because we have that deal. So if anybody's like, damn, he's just using her information, that was part of the deal to treat her. I can share all of this. That was part of it.
Mhm.
So she had cancer 3 times previously.
Oh,
Blood
wow.
cancer, lung cancer, breast cancer, I think. 3 different cancers. She
Mhm.
had did chemo, radiation, all of that, got out of it. She went for a checkup and they told her, we just see that you got stage 2 multiple myeloma bone cancer. We think we need to start you on treatment now. She was like, no, you don't. No, you won't. I'm not doing no treatments. No, I did treatments before. The chemo and the radiation destroyed my body worse than the cancer did. So
Yep.
I'm going to self-medicate on marijuana till I die. Thank you. And they was like, well, we can monitor your levels until, and she was like, okay, cool. And she left and she went home and she told her family all of that. And one of her nieces had her friend there, and they both frequent the Psychonaut Academy in Detroit. And they say, yo, maybe you need to go and talk to Seven. And she was like, who is that? And she's like, oh, you know, the medicine man, this snake Venom. Yeah, but he's cool to do. She's like, all right, I'll go talk to him. So she comes over, we talk. She tells me, I said, all right, this is awesome. I think I can assist you. Let's get started. She said, what does it cost? And I told her. She was like, nah, I'm straight. And I was like, all right, hold on. If that's why it's going to make you stop, I'll do it for free if I can share your story. I can share your information, your word anytime, because I believe in what I have. And I think that we're going to have some positive results. And I want to be able to talk about it in a couple years in podcasts and on stages. Matter of fact, I want you to come with me to some of these stages and sit next to me so I can go, and here she is now. And she says, all right, cool. So we started our treatments. We didn't do treatments. We started her journey. Yeah, we don't do treatments. We started her journey, and we gave her 4 administrations of snake venom. Now, when she came and told me she had multiple myeloma, I was very clear that I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of it. And she told me what it was. I said, give me 3 days because I'm a supreme scientist. So in 3 days, I'll have all the information I need. She says, okay, cool. So the next day I was sitting with one of my partners. We sitting around, hanging out, going through books, talking and kicking it, because that's what we do when we hang out. We pull our books out and, and so he says, hey, look at this. It says if you mix this venom and this venom together, it targets myeloma. And I was like, yeah, I think that's skin cancer or something. He was like, oh. And because I was doing something else. And he was like, I'm going to look it up. He said, no, it says it's bone cancer. And then I stopped, like, wait, what? Multiple myeloma? Yeah. Wait a minute. That's what my client wait. If you mix what venoms? And it told me the 2 venoms. I said, I got both of them. Let me call her. So I called her and I told her all of that. I said, we can get started immediately. So I gave her 2 administrations, which is 3 days of applications. 3 days, 6 gates each day. That's 1 full administration. Okay. I did that 2 times with the mix and 2 times with just regular copperhead venom, because copperhead is very anti-cancer. Okay? So we're targeting the multiple myeloma as well as the cancer anywhere in your body. Okay. We gave her 4 administrations and then 1 administration of Cambo. I had to go out of town, so I told her we'll continue when I get back. She said, okay, I'm going to go get a checkup to see if anything's changing, because I feel like that tumor's getting smaller. I says, okay. A week later, she calls me. She says, I'm at the doctor. She said, they told me that the tumor that was in between my 11th and 12th ribs is gone. Wow. The surgery that they had me scheduled for to remove a couple of my ribs because of the rate of deterioration from the cancer was going to make them start breaking in my body. They canceled it because I don't have to get it because they're not deteriorating. I'm like, oh, well, we're making progress. She said, no, I'm not done. She said, and then they told me I'm cancer free. Wow. She told me this is okay. Yeah. So I said, and I cried, and then she cried, and then we crowed. Okay, we crowed together. You know what I'm saying? So that was the greatest testimonial that I've been a part of somebody on a healing journey. You know what I'm saying? Because I talk about healing with the kingdoms. So the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, the fungi kingdom, the animal kingdom, and the kingdom of man. So there was some Rick Simpson oil, the plant kingdom. There was minerals and things that needed to be, and there were certain fungi as well that we know anti-cancerous, things like that. And as far as the kingdom of man, we're talking about Reiki, we're talking about placebo, right? We're talking about meditation, breath work. So all of these things were utilized on her healing journey. So that's kind of what a healing journey looks like with, the House of Genesis.
So when you're going through this healing journey and you're applying these different venoms, what does it feel like for the individual who's receiving that?
Calm. It feels calm. It's
Okay.
calming. It's not like Cambo. Everybody knows about Cambo. Cambo is very active to the the digestive system. You get hot. You feel like you got the flu. You get uncomfortable. It's not a comfortable thing. Snake venom. We do snake venom, and we'll talk. We'll do snake venom, and we'll. Some people will eat. Some people will scroll their social media. Some people will get on the phone. Some people will do work. I'm gonna do schoolwork. Venom's absorbing. But most people relax and go into a meditative state. So it's very subtle. There's nothing adverse that's uncomfortable. It's a very beautiful, beautiful experience.
And that is something that I think people are afraid of, because they hear venom and they think, okay, that's going to feel horrible. I'm going to get sick. Like, it's just going to be this terrible experience. So what is the mechanism that allows it to feel so calming when an actual snake bite would be something that's not so enjoyable?
Okay, so there's two different ways I'm gonna answer that. So the first one is Cambo is targeting the digestive system.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes that that way, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Cambo is 7.5% bioactive peptides. Okay. 7.5. Snake venom is 90% bioactive peptides. Right. All right.
Yeah.
So the peptides are not targeting the digestive system. They're targeting the neurological system, the endocrine system, the circulatory system. See, it's all of these things. So now the second way I'm explaining this, because this is what a lot of people was loving when I was explaining at the conference. I was like, okay, I got it down to like a 30-second thing. I was taught that the snake heals its prey before it kills its prey, because it plans to eat the prey, and it doesn't have claws, teeth, or anything to peel apart any of the bad parts. Okay. Everything, things they eat part and then leave apart, right? So the snake is like, you know what? I'll just create over evolution a venom that when I inject it, it immediately floods the body with white blood cells, right? The healing cells, and it goes in and neutralizes viruses, tumors, cancers, bacteria, and diseases, because I don't want to eat none of that. And then after it injects them with that and the body's clean, then it will shut their systems down, shut their heart down, shut their lungs down, shut their neurological system down, so they can fall and die. So I can have a nice, clean, respectful meal.
Okay.
The difference between a poison and a medicine is the dosage. So when you get bit by a snake, you are receiving 3,000 people's medicine all at once. But if that snake venom is taken and responsibly with the F, make sure you got that, responsibly done and alchemized into a usable solution, then it can be microdosed into the lymphatic system, where it's transferred to the bloodstream, so that the let me go and neutralize the bacteria and the viruses and the diseases is active. But we microdosed it. There's not enough to start all right, now let me shut your systems down. It only has healing potential within the amount that's given. That's why we microdose it over a 3-day process. And there you have it.
I love that. Okay. All right. Can you share any stories? I know your story specifically is around trauma. Have you had any people that have come to you for venom therapy that were really there for a mental health journey?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Because you said a mental health journey. Yes. But usually that journey starts, because I'm a medicine man as well as a shaman. It starts with entheogenic works, right? Okay. Got to get your nervous system on point. We got to get your consciousness and how you see life, yourself, and all of these things on point before. So snake venom going directly into that is not going to alter the default mode network that's present in our consciousness. So that default mode network is present in everybody, and they have a default mode that they always go to. The venoms don't really alter that, but what happens is, if we use some entheogens to alter your default mode network, so we can get your thought processes and how you approach things to change a little bit, then we can start to work with some cobra or some mambas and start to work on your nervous system. Because that nervous system, it has to be addressed in a lot of different ways. This is why we talk about healing with the kingdoms. It ain't just like snake venom's going to just, oh, your nervous system good. Nah, you might need some valerian root and you might need some counseling, right? So you can relax. Because sometimes for me as a soldier, I need to be able to verbalize myself and I need you to hear me.
Right.
So I'm very big on talking. The number one thing is shut up. You won't shut up. If I get on your nerves, it's because I won't shut up. I'm always speaking about things that people might not want me to talk about, things that are uncomfortable and challenging. Nah, because I was held in and I had my nervous system, right, not feeling free and not feeling comfortable. So it's multi-levels to healing.
We know when we have trauma, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere aren't talking, and they then do not allow us to communicate, and we hold so many things in when those two hemispheres are not working. So
and no matter how much counseling you get, it never brings those hemispheres together. But entheogens do. Entheogens do. That's what you're feeling. That's why you can smell that sound. What? Yeah, that's why you can hear that color. Because both hemispheres of your brain are working together and you are now aware of things that you usually don't have the ability to be aware of, which some people refer to as the spiritual realm. Depending on how much.
In order for us to fully heal, we have to heal not only the physical body, but the spiritual body. So, that overlap is really important.
All things start in the divine realm and then they manifest down into the terrestrial or physical or material realm. That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
All right. So can you tell people how to get in touch with you if they'd like more information or to talk to you about a healing journey for themselves?
So the Detroit Medicine Man on Instagram, Sincere Genesis on Facebook, and then I guess that would be how to get in, or my email. Here we go. SincereSevenServices@gmail.com. All spelled out. SincereSevenServices@gmail.com. Now, if you like more information on snake venom and what it is and what it means to be a snake venom practitioner, I invite you to go look at the Snake Venom Association, Snake Venom Practitioners Association. It's dope. I was over there looking at it the other day, like, wow, they got everything that we do in here. And it's www.venompractitioner.org. And the reason I point there is because there's a list of other practitioners other than me throughout the United States that serve snake venom in case and people are, interested. It's not just me out here.
Okay.
Indeed.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time and, giving us the ability to learn about this, because this is something that not a lot of people are talking about. And there is a lot of fear just because you hear the word venom.
Right. Because I also want to point out, it's not just used for therapeutic reasons. It's also used for spiritual reasons and used a lot of times with things like bufo, mushrooms, and ayahuasca, as well as character growth and development. There are people who have used venoms because they have issues protecting their boundaries, speaking up for themselves, things like that. And once they take the venoms, there's a certain character growth that you have that now you feel a lot more courageous and you speak up for yourself and you protect yourself more. So some people use it just for that. So I just want to throw those out there. It's not just, because some people are like, I ain't sick, so what I'm using, it's not just for that. So I just want to throw those out there too. It's a fascinating modality.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for joining us. And thank you to all of our followers. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe so you get notice of our next videos.